the whole thing of tribalism. And I know that there were some people, I was listening to some podcasts about, it wasn't even probably a podcast. I think it was just like some memes that, or some shorts that people were putting out about how tribalism isn't good. I love tribalism. Personally, I want to be around people that are my tribe. And the older I get, the more I want to only be around people that are part of my tribe. Said differently is our community. And what do communities share? Core values. So, what we're starting to see is this migration on a national level, that people are migrating away from states where their core values just don't align, with the core values of maybe the government leadership or the majority of people. Certainly in New York City, we know that's true. So what you guys thinking? I know you guys are, we're kind of from all over the spectrum at this point, from Oklahoma to Dallas to Cleveland. Yeah.
To your point about the tribal side of things. We've been talking about it for a little over a year. And then just for those of us kind of in the event side of things in space, talking with Alex a little bit about kind of what they're doing, but also seeing across the country, is that one, events is extremely hard. The large events is extremely hard to get butts in seats. And just hearing from those that are often hit for sponsorships and having to change up the sponsorship game because they're promised one thing, hey, we're going to have 1,000 people, and they get there and there's 320. And so it's really, really hard to get butts in seats. However, people are gravitating to smaller events. They want to get together because why? Because of all the noise online, people don't trust anything what they see. They want to get in person. They want to touch, feel, hear. And so like what we're doing with Agent to CEO, 100 people, like people want to be there. That is tribe. That's the type of events that you're going to see moving into the future. And I think that's probably a little bit on the large side. I think the 30 to 50 to where you can actually connect. So just coming out of KT last week, that was the feedback, right, in the room. And everybody in the room goes to so many massive events. And they're like, listen, we want the smaller events to where we can connect and really be authentic, right? So go back to the definition of trust, which is just authenticity times time. People want to be around people and they want to build communities. They want to build trust. So I 1000% believe that's the direction it's going to go. I know you're talking about it on national value scale, and we're starting to see migrations in communities and cities. But it cascades all the way down to even what we're trying to do on a local level with your community. So community has to be one of the cornerstones of your foundation, and it's going to be a tight community where people can actually connect. So that tribal mentality is spot on, Al.
100%. Dude, people, I just got off a call with Rick Dillon, and I'll leave the other gentleman's name out because he's about to leave his brokerage and join our community. But people want to be around people that are like themselves. And there was a study I saw just the other day. It might have been a TikTok wormhole, but it was talking about the percentage of increase you get when you're around people playing at a high level. It's actually a smaller increase than when you put that same person in the room. And this reminds me, John, of back in the day when we had the whole room upstairs filled with cubicles, and we had people making calls, and we had agents that wouldn't make the calls, but everyone leveled up because everyone was making the calls and everyone was playing at a higher level. But if you put that same person in a group of people that aren't doing anything, it's an actually bigger dip you get by being around people that are playing at a low level. You play at a much lower level. I thought that was interesting. But people want to be around people that are, if you're a producer, if you're an A player, if you're positive, all of the things that are core to our nature, who we are, and being successful and what it takes, you want to be around people that are like that. And I think it's hard to do that in bigger groups. It's easier to do it in smaller groups, but certainly I don't want to spend, I'll tell you this. I've never recruited someone to EXP that I didn't want to be in business with. I let them off the hook and I let them swim away, and I don't ever follow up. And so it's cool to be able to build communities like that here, but there's no doubt that's where everything has moved to.
Mm-hmm. 100%. It's so key.
That's just genuine. That's being genuine. And without saying any names, we just had an experience of exactly what you were talking about. Like, we both had an experience with a certain individual that get us on the phone, literally suck the energy out of us for 60 minutes and not get anything done. And nice guy, by the way. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, you got to listen to your soul.
I'd rather put a bullet in I'd rather get whipped with a car antenna.
Couldn't do it. I mean, I wanted to do it, but I knew deep down, like deep in my soul, that we weren't a fit, and that's okay. And I think the thing that, I'm not saying that we've done this because we really never have, but what I've seen other people do is that, you know, they're trying to do events and they're trying to be everything to everybody. And when you're trying to be everything to everybody, you're nothing to nobody. And it really boils down to, like, polarization is okay. Not in a disrespectful way by any means, but it means that you believe within your core and you're not afraid to communicate those beliefs of what's in your core. And when you're able to do that with confidence, you will attract your tribe. And I think that the three of you guys, like, when I met you guys, I didn't know you from Adam. I've never heard of you in 2010. You know, I knew Coach Cliff because he was my coach, party organ, but I didn't know you guys. And it wasn't until I actually got into that environment where everything changed, because I was, like, introduced to people that were just thinking at such a high level, like a higher level than more than me. You guys, or Mike Reese always talks about the fish analogy. I think you mentioned it last week too. Is that a fish only knows what's below the surface of the water. The fish doesn't understand that there's you know what's going on up there, because their world is below sea level. It's under the water, under the sea. And I feel like, you know, for me personally, before I met you guys, before I went to my first EGS, I was that fish below the water, didn't even understand what was going on up above here, where there's, like, oxygen and life and things going on that are, you know, way beyond that. So find your tribe, man. And or maybe it'll find you. Yeah.